Alright guys, so welcome back. I'm going to do something a little different today. Now in the past I've made videos on tanning your own fur-bearing critters, such as coyotes and coons and things of that nature. And it's come to my attention through those videos, that a lot of people are really interested in doing a deer. Whether it be for clothing or for a rug or just what have you. So I thought what I'd do is I'd do a little video series on going through the process of doing a deer. It's not really that much different, but I figured I'd just concentrate just on the deer. And instead of compiling videos and then uploading them, every few days at the end of the season, I thought what I'd do is, I do my tanning at the end of the season, but I prepare, all the way through. And since, deer season for a lot of you guys will be closed by the time I'd upload the videos, I thought I'd do this series kind of as it happens. So there'll be some lag in the videos, but come March or April, you'll be able to watch the whole video series basically from start to finish. But my intentions are, if you was possibly wanting to do this year, this winter, you could start watching the videos and kind of stay along with me, so to speak. So what I've got here is I've got a young button buck that I harvested the other day. Not a very big deer. I actually thought it was a doe. It ended up being a little button buck, but nevertheless, good meat. That's why I shot it, was for the meat. Harvested this with my bow. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skin this thing out, and we're going to tack everything up like we're going to do fur on. And then at the time, whenever we go to tan it, then I'll show you guys how to remove the hair if you want to make rawhide and such. So anyway, a lot of guys get freaked out with how to skin these deer, and they come up with all different ways to pull them, and golf balls and tractors and trucks, and it's really not that big of a deal. So what you see here is I've got the deer hanging up. It's in the stage just after basically field dressing. So I've split it, up the rib cage and around the vent, and it's just sitting there like that. So in order to get the pelt off and removed so where we can work it and set it up with a stretcher, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of cuts up here to the back legs, right here and right here. We're going to cut it all the way down, and I'm going to go right about to the shoulder area, and then I'm going to just ring it. If you want the full rug wall mount, then that's more than fine. You can go all the way down to the neck, but for the use that we're going to need this thing for, it's really a pain to get around the legs, and you really don't gain that much. So we're going to go basically, let's see if I can raise them up into the camera for you here. We're going to raise this deer up, or we're going to take this deer right in this area. Here's its front legs. So right in that area, and then that'll make a nice piece of fur that we can deal with. And for those of you who watch, sometimes you case skin an animal. Naturally, we're going to do this thing flat, and I've got a stretcher, basically specifically for that. So anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole video and make you guys watch me skin it, but basically what we're going to do is that you need nothing more than a little fillet knife or a boning knife. And we're just going to start our cut right up here. We'll go right up to the gambrel with the Achilles. And now, there's really not much to this, guys. Once you get this started all the way through and around, you can rip them. Now this is a smaller deer, I know, but even with a bigger buck, it's really not that big of a deal. Once we get this started, we can pull this critter's hide off really easy. So like I said, I'm going to go around, I'm going to go all the way down, and then once I get down to the shoulders, I'll turn the camera on. Until then, we'll throw you guys on a time lapse and let you see what I'm doing. Alright, so that didn't take long at all. Just in a matter of minutes, it's really easy to skin these suckers down. Now what I've done is, you can see I've taken and I've just kind of skinned around the front shoulder area here. And then right as soon as I got down low, I made a cut, which is basically would be the base of the neck. I've skinned them out at the neck before, and you really don't gain that much anyway. So what we're doing is kind of right at the base of the neck, we're just going to finish our cut. Now if you want to go all the way to the base of the head, then by all means, go ahead and do that. So we'll just finish that cut now, and you can see I've got basically what you see you know, it looks like a deer. We've got the, you know, the back legs. I left the tail on the carcass. I use these tails for my fly tying and other things, so we're not gonna use the tail in this this particular pelt. But by all means, if you want to use for like a rug or something, you know, you can skin out that tail. No different than you skin out the tail of a regular critter. So we've got our deer hide here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up fleshing this thing just like a normal critter. Now it's late at night and I've got to take the meat off of this, so what we're gonna do is, it's perfectly okay. I'm just gonna roll this thing up, kind of keep skin to skin, and I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow we'll work on the hide. But I need to get the meat off this guy right now. So like I said, if you're crunch for time, by all means just take this sucker and just kind of, just like that, fold him up, and you know, put him in a bag and put him in the refrigerator, and he'll be just fine for a day or two. So anyway, I'm going to commence to getting the meat off this thing, but before I leave tonight, I'll show you guys how to take the brains out of this deer, because this hide is, I'm going to actually brain tan it with this deer. So okay, so just real quick here, I just wanted to show and share how I take the brains out of the skull. Now, you know, there's a whole bunch of different tanning methods out there, but the brain tanning method, you know, it works real good, and I haven't showed it before. So what I've done is I've just taken the head off the deer here, got him on the table where you guys can see, and basically I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, you can do it a few different ways. This is how I do it on all my critters. It just seems to work the easiest. Basically what I've got here is, this is a bone saw. It's kind of essentially a hacksaw on steroids. If you have a hacksaw, you can do the same thing. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cut right through the center of the skull, and then I'm going to take a hatchet, give it a couple of taps with a hammer, and I'm going to separate the brain into two lobes. I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag and just put it in the freezer. And then whenever it comes time to tan this hide, then I can use it. So, you know, if you're wanting to tan a bunch of hides, you can even save up the brains. That's no problem at all either. You know, from if your buddies get deer or anything else, you know. So anyway, it's really not that difficult. Like I said, it looks kind of gory, but you know, it's really about the most efficient way. Now, I did this on the table to show you guys, but if you leave the head on the carcass, it actually is a little easier because it doesn't move around so much. But what I do is I just go ahead and get started there, and you don't have to cut very deep with this saw because you're going to split it. And for some reason, and I don't know the anatomy, but most critters, the tops of their skull is very thin, so that's why I always go from the top. Okay, so I've made a cut in there. I'm a decent little ways through, so I'm just going to take this hatchet here and just give it a couple good whacks there. Separate that skull. Alright, there it is. You can see there's one half of the brain, one half of the brain right there, and then here's the other half. So at this point, it's just as simple as kind of getting in there and scooping her out. You can see right there, the lighting's not very good here. Right there's your brain. We'll take out from that side, and we'll come over here. Like I said, it's real easy to extract it. There's the other half of the brain. Nothing to it. And there you go. Now we'll just put this in a Ziploc bag. We'll remove all the air. Throw that bad boy in the freezer, and then whenever it comes time to to tan this hide, then we'll have it ready to go. So anyway, it's as quick and easy as that, guys.